everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia. Here on a very blustery Thursday evening here. It's about 11 degrees Celsius. Feels a whole lot like, I don't know, March. Anyway, winter coat back on just to keep the wind away, and that way we can get into it. And I will be signing off at the hour or slightly ahead of it tonight. I do have a webinar to do. And typical normal tonight, but I think this will be my last webinar, just based on workloads. I've got a lot going on, so trying to get stuff finished, and I don't need, it's kind of hard to put in words. It's about feeling pressure to, need to write and produce, and that's not kind of how I work, so I just, well, I will see. Anyway, it's just how I feel today. And Tony says hi to everybody. I had a chat with him today, so. And we'll leave that one there. Buddy sends along hello to everybody, and of course, more than happy to pass that to all. All right. While I was sitting just ahead of the show here trying to, figure out where we're going to go tonight, and I want to talk a little bit about manifesting and allegories and what we have surrounding us. I'm getting notes coming in now from people that are starting to notice their now moments, and they're looking them up, which is really cool. And only when you start actually doing it do you start seeing the magic of this place and just how surreal it is and just how encapsulated we've been caught in a grand illusion. And one of the points I was discussing earlier today with regards to intellectualism, there are none more trapped than the intellectual. And that's kind of one of the lessons I had to come to terms with, one of the lessons I had to learn. Because everything I know, or I think, or claim to know with regards to this illusion is all what? It's mastery of the illusion, or better yet, a perceived mastery of an illusion. But when one is master of an illusion, what is one master of? Someone else's game. And the mirror shines brightly in that you are the slave to the master that created the illusion. So the more you know about the illusion, the less you know about you. And that's kind of the point I've been trying to drive home. Just couldn't find the words to say it, but that's pretty much where I'm at. You can tell me all about quantum science. You can tell me all about everything you think you... Well, here's the thing about quantum science. They're getting to a point now where they don't know what the hell's going on. I think that's proof enough for me. Yeah, kind of neat that, eh? Did you figure out the illusion to finally figure out that you can't figure out the illusion? Yeah, staring you right in the face. Has been me for a long time. Boy, do I feel this game ramping up real quick. We are incredibly close, boys and girls. Incredibly close. You know it. We're not so asleep anymore. I think I'm going to share a couple of other things, a few other concepts that I've been pondering and mulling over today. We should see where they go tonight, but manifestation, I think, is a critical thing, especially when we're dealing in the manifestation of a reality that is not ours, and something that we can be cause over it, but most of the time we're at effect to it. Think of the bills that have to be paid, think of the food that has to be bought, think of this, think of that, think of the other, got you spinning, got you running in circles, got you worried about how your hair looks, whether your nails are done. Okay, with me, that's one of mine. All manner of things. And I think I will preface tonight's show again. I go back to an essay I wrote a long time ago called Choices, and I've talked about it in the past. I've done a show on it, a couple of shows on it. And one of the things that keeps coming foremost to mind is Scylla. That's the multi-headed Hydra, I guess you would describe it in Greek mythology, my theology, right? Whoa! Have a look at it the right way and you'll see it. Of course, Scylla and Charybdis, right? Scylla, the multi-headed, call it dragon for lack of a better term too. And of course, the wide-mouthed charybdis that opens her mouth up and just sucks the whole ship down. You're gone. And one of the things I've noticed of late, and I'm fully expecting more and more, can I tolerate the losses? Of course I can. It's always a situation of shooting the messenger. I know how quickly those guns get aimed. Actually, most times they're not even guns, they're usually knives. I know I've got the armor plate on my back to prove it. But, you see, here's the thing. Excuse me. As we walk through this life, we're all going to come across things that we discover to be truths that not everyone is quite ready for. And what happens when we dare to share that information with somebody? Think of the last time you tried to talk to a sleepy family member about what's really going on. Did they get pissed off at you or the message? I'm not sure how many people actually stop to ever think about that part. You've heard the expression, don't shoot the messenger? Well, here's the thing. That's the first thing everybody does, you know. If you can't handle something that somebody's saying, they automatically go, well, the messenger's an asshole. But the messenger might know something that you don't. The messenger might have something to share that you need. And that message might be, some really bad medicine. And unfortunately, I've run out of all sorts of natural cane sugar to wash that medicine down, right? Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Yeah, well, I think I've been sweet enough over the years. And I can tell you, even with truckloads of sugar, a lot of the stuff that I share and others share just doesn't sit well with most people. And I got to tell you, it's not an easy task in letting go of everything you thought was real, everything you thought was true, that was indoctrinated into you, that created your reality around you. And that's in fact what has happened. And make no mistake about it. The reality that you are in is the one that was created around you, and you were party to it. And only you can change it. That's the tricky part. Yeah, most of us find ourselves in that lazy boy of life, and we're comfortable with our ideals, our beliefs, our understandings, and things that, make enough sense that we can get through our day and wake up to do it all again the next day. I kind of gave up on that paradigm. That's not enough for me. There's a lot more to life than that, I think. I think you think the same things. But there's got to be so much more to it. So manifestation, what's that? Well, I look at words in relation to it. I was talking a bit about this last night. Not on the air, just here. And words like manifestation or infestation. I look at the word fess as in confess or profess or profession. And the word fess, manifestation, fess means to make weary. All right? Kind of has a different texture to the word and to the meaning. And one of the things I find most of us doing, we manifest things that make our lives more difficult. And that has simply been because we have been walking around speaking blindly, caught up in the grand illusion of grand illusions, where everything we say can and will be used against us in a court of universal law. Another cool allegory, huh? Yeah, it's allowing these little things to resonate with you and giving yourself enough time to, sit back. And it's one of the things that I've been doing for the last week or so that I haven't done in a very long time, is I just literally walk away from the computer in terms of, online and posting, checking, and doing this, that, and the other. And I go spend a little time with me. And sometimes I'll, pull up a video of, say, Bill or Santo or something or whatever. Just something that I know is going to make sense to me. excuse me, something that I know I can garner gems from, because I know the intent that went into creating these things, and it's a very pure intent. You'll find that the purer the intent you find in things that resonate with you, the more that you will glean from it. One, because you're in a comfort zone of I hate using the word trust, but it is a condition of trust, in that the individual you're listening to, be it me, Bill, Santa, whoever, yourself, doesn't matter, that you have a sense of trust with it. So, and when that resistive barrier is brought down, you can slip into, obviously, meditation a whole lot easier, and you can also allow an inflow, because most of us are such a condition of defensive stance, posture, that most of us will never let anything in, because we've got these walls up so high and so hard, so thick, so permanent, that there's no give and take, And people can talk about Geminis all day long about being flighty, this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you, it's one of the things I learned early on in the game, and indecisive and like the air, and just and I know lots of Geminis like that. Oh my God, most of them I know are like that, and it's really difficult to have a conversation because you're not sure if they're even there, So it was one of the early ones that I feel I've conquered in being in the moment and not being so whoosh, 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 all over the place. Bill does a great video on Gemini, by the way, for any Geminians listening. He does them all the signs. I would highly recommend you go to hiddenmeanings.com and, spend, he does at least an hour or so on each zodiac and combinations of zodiacs. And he does it from a very different perspective from Santo, which is really cool, because when you put them both together, the jewels you will glean, the pearls are beyond impressive. And it's like taking two beautiful minds in the same genre from different perspectives and uniting them together, and you create this beautiful third trinity, like bucket of pearls. You just have to stick your hand in it. It's like, whoa, look what I got. Anyway, that's the effect it has on me anyway. So, manifestation. Let me see. Where do I want to go with this? We'll start with be careful what you wish for. And everything around you in your life, as in mine, was manifested by me and by you. This is a collective effort here, guys. So you got to take responsibility for the messes we create, and the beautiful things too. We're very quick to take credit for the beautiful things, and very rarely will we, go and confront those things that are very difficult to look at. I've often said, if you're avoiding somebody, or if you see someone that you don't really want to talk anymore, that's generally and usually because of something you did to them, not something they did to you. That's why I make a point of always confronting, always being around someone, just to make sure that everything is neutral, everything is fine. And not everyone can handle that, and I totally get that. That's cool. That's fine with me. But you see, for me, it's only about intent anyway. And as long as my intent is kept in that line and kept in that, pure stream that I fight so hard to stay in, then I'm okay. And anyone can be okay where your intent is concerned, because only in the intent can the true manifestations come forth. The ones that are the really good ones that are beneficial not only to yourself, but because you're not willing to trespass on free will choice of others and judge them. You're going to get some magical things, and so are the people around you. It's one of the things I've noticed in my life that I always felt like the bridesmaid, never the bride, where people would come into my life and all these crazy awesome things would happen to them and whatever, and then I guess as soon as the energy of me was used up, or they didn't need it anymore, and they had everything they just moved on. And I found that very common, and this is not pity. This is an observation thing, and I've observed this my whole life. I've watched it very carefully and worked it, trying to understand the why. And it's given me a lot of answers, far too many to even count. But what's really neat about it is, and you know this from your own experience, I know you do, we all go through this, that people come into your life and walk out of your life. And typically, the balance is that you got from them what you needed, and they got from you what they needed. So when people come into my life, in any way, shape, or form, I'm always looking for the intent. What is the intent? And I'm not saying looking for it, I'm feeling for it. And one of the you can call it a joy if you want, you can call it a curse. But one of the things regarding this is I always know. I always feel it. I don't think it, I feel it. And it comes in the twinkling of an eye. I've said this my whole life. You got 30 seconds with me and I'll have you figured out. I'll know what your intent is because I can feel it. And I persevere through a lot of it. Some of it, yeah, it's great. The intent's good and all the rest of it. And something always seems to shift, but that's okay. But as we walk through our lives, as we interact with each other and trying to obviously make better lives for ourselves and others, hopefully others, that's where I put everything first. Because if I make others' lives better, then mine's better by default. It's kind of a mirror effect. Thing is, when people come around me and I see all these really crazy, wonderful things happening, you know, I'm talking marriages, people that, you know, met through me, and you know, songwriters that ended up meeting and getting married, and there's been kids born and CDs and all manner of beautiful things, and all out of the idea of, you know, coming back from Nashville one day saying, you know what, I'm going to set up a Bluebird in Canada, one that's a little bit more open, a little bit more level staged, where people don't feel like they're being you know, ground through like song fodder, where the stage was going to be equal and was going to be level, and that no one had a voice over another, and that included me, the host. I sat in and played. That was my job. I'd sit in the first set with 2 features. We'd do 3 songs each and then move on. And then we went 3 at a time, 3 songs, until everyone had their turn. And it was a great gathering all the time. It's funny that not one single entity from all of that has made an effort to get in touch with me. It's not crazy. You see, so they got what they needed from me, and I got what I needed from them, obviously. And what I got from it was watching all these beautiful manifestations. And what they got from it was getting those beautiful manifestations. And yeah, every night, it was beautiful every night. I can go to the mirror and go, yes, I made a difference today, and that's all I care about. My intent is to make a difference for the better. And it doesn't matter if it's a, you know, leap across the Grand Canyon or a 1/4 of an inch baby step. It does not matter to me, but it has to move forward. It always has to move forward. So in our day-to-day lives, when we're thinking and we're manifesting and thinking, we're manifesting, we're thinking and we're manifesting constantly. So you have to be mindful of what you're thinking. You know, and I catch myself all the time. I'm very diligent with me. You think I don't let anyone else off the hook? You should see how I treat me. But it's looking out and, you know, looking at things with new heart, not eyes. Your eyes will deceive you every day, every minute of the day. Those are just projections. Try to feel your way through this, you know, and you'll see a whole lot more with your heart than you ever will with your eyes, because your eyes are deceived. You're only dealing in a one-dimensional light spectrum, and it's not a very broad spectrum, by the way. It's in terms of universe, it's very, 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 very narrow. So we need to learn to close our eyes, shut our mouths, open our hearts, and let the universe pour in, because you are the universe, and you have that completely contained within you. And you've been duped out of it. Of course, we all did it with our own consent. And but now we're remembering, and we're starting to awaken. And we're starting to awaken to a grand level. And I know you can feel it. I know I can. You know, it's like waking up this morning and it was a little cooler, but even last night, there's energy in the air right now, and it's a good energy. I know what's happening, and I see it. I get, in this illusion, I get visual clues as to what's going on, and I see the posts, and I see the changes. And I got to tell you, 6 months ago, would I have doubted to have been able to see this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because 6 months ago, I'm still fighting to keep going here. I think 6 months ago I was still in a tent, but there you go, right? Oh no, I would have been here. But yeah, it's May already, almost June, for crying out loud. But and we are in Gemini now, so I'm kind of in my home comfy zodiac here. So it's that works for me. When we look out and we observe things from our singular perspective, what are the reactions that we have? You see someone that may not fit your standards. See something that doesn't fit your standards. Look at something that gets you to react. How are you reacting? And how much emotion and intentful energy are you putting into it? Because I assure you, you're creating. Whether you see it now or later, you will see it. Those things that we put forth, those choices that we make, those assumptions that we place upon others will always come back to haunt you. That's why I always suggest planting good seeds. I love a good hunt in that way. Right? Do your best to plant apple trees. If you're gonna manifest anything, I'll put it in an allegory for you. Plant apple trees instead of ragweed. That to me just makes a whole lot more sense. So, excuse me. You are what you think. And your world around you is what you think. That's your projection. That's what you're putting out. And I've talked about this with regards to the pineal gland. That is your transceiver. And I want to get into this part of it because this is where manifestation really takes place for you. Every one of you, each and every one of you. I'm going to show you how you're walking in a dream state here. This is the dream state. You think you're awake. You think because you're physical and all the rest of it. No. This is the other side of the looking glass that you're trapped in. Once you can get into the most beautiful dark, as in the deepest sleep, that's when you get a REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's when the magic begins. That's when the pineal can finally go, hey, cool, it's dark. I can open. And I can connect with me. Think of it like, you get 23 and a half hours of solitary confinement, and for a half an hour you get to walk the yard that is infinite in scope. There's no walls there, and you always come back, right? That's what the dream state is. That's where you're really manifesting. It's when you really connect to you, the source. They're not dreams. They're not dreams at all. That's reality. Because during that brief period, be it 5 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows? There is no time there, right? Because when you're in a dream, there is no time. It just is. And it's very real. Especially those of you that have had lucid dreams. I've had those, where you're actually aware that you're in the dream state. That somehow this is yours, and that's when you pull off stunts like flying and jumping worlds, whatever, creating entire landscapes in front of you. And isn't it funny how these dreams are so full of detail? Of course they are. You created them, and that's the only time that you're free to go into the void. But there's always that compulsion to come back. And come back we do, because we've got something else to sort out here. And this is part of the understanding of ourself, the back and forthness, the ebb and flow, the pendulum, if you will. That's why it's so very, very important to spend time with you. I can't stress that enough. You know, don't care what it takes. You have to do it. If you want anything in terms of answers, you have to do it. There's no choice. And most people resist it because they know, deep down they know this. And they don't want to let go of the illusion. They don't want to let go of the game because it's fun and it's full of ups and downs and chills and thrills. And I mean, Bill Hicks does a far better job of describing it than I could. But what we have here are aspects of consciousness that are completely trapped and are quite content to keep this going ad nauseum. Me, on the other hand, well, when you have parts of trapped consciousness that are here against their will, and now I'm here against my will, have been for a long time. That was proof enough for me that there are others that are probably feeling the same way, that have been in this loop far longer than I. And that's the only thing I can say with regards to, why do some of us click on things that others don't? Well, the only thing that stands to reason for me is, well, some of us just haven't been recycled as much as others. And of course, when you look at those that are, creating all these crazy evil things against fellow humans, you can only surmise that they've been here a terribly long time and have been completely encapsulated, and they're well on their way to becoming hunks of quartz. Oh yeah, there's lots of consciousness in a hunk of quartz, no question. Just not much cause, if you know what I'm saying. Full effect. But I dare say it will last an infinitely long time. It takes a long time for a hunk of quartz to wear down. So if that's the consciousness you seek, well, you're in the right place to earn it. Because what do you think all the rest of this universe is made of? Trapped consciousness. So it's time to release it, I think. Well, not so much release it, but, let go. Help it escape, if it wishes. Now, I know I'm going all over the map here, but I'm trying to get into some very ethereal concepts to get you guys in a headspace where this might sink in. Or, again, I'm going to be getting resonance back from people otherwise. And there was a little something I wrote earlier with regards to some comments that were made. It's very easy for others to judge and assume intent where only my intent is known by me. That's why the actions will always show the intent. But not everybody can interpret actions very well either. So we get caught in that little rut as well. So it's about being a very careful, very neutral observer and making sure that the tricky little bastard doesn't rear its head and take control. I was saying earlier with regards to those that are intellectual, of high intelligence order, are actually the easiest to trap. Because what happens, here it is. Everything in this illusion is illusion. And if you know a whole lot about how this illusion works, what do you really know? What do you know? You only know what the illusion makes you think you know. And you most certainly don't know who you are in that. It's one of the reasons why I've been very careful to balance any semblance of intellect with creativity very carefully. Because it's very easy to get caught in the intellectual trap. The intellectual trap works like this. Take people that can really handle the courts, and I'm being very specific about some people. Again, it's about intent here, all right? So I need this to be very, very clear. So I don't need to be saying anyone's name or whatever. I've got many that I can think of. And there's also many that can play in that game too that I can think of, but know exactly what they're doing with a completely different intent. They're not owned by it. They don't think that they've won on a physical level. It's a little higher game for that. And you'll have people that are out there, professing this process and this and that and the other and all the rest of it. And of course, as the layers keep getting, and we're down to like the core of this onion, where the system doesn't know whether to piss, shit, or jump off the bridge, And of course, when you get to that point of the game, it's going to backlash. That's what I call the death throes of a freshly slain dragon. And that tail's still wicked. It's still moving. So, and it will catch a few more before this game is out. And I'm not going to be one of them. I promise you that, because this is about going to peace and settling it, and just exposing it for the illusion that it is, and understand that you're not part of that illusion. And like I said, you can fist fight all day long, and you ain't going to get anywhere, because you're going to end up being one of the dead getting carried out by the dead, because you still don't know who you are. You most certainly don't know who you are. There are no victories in the illusion. Those are illusions. Makes sense, huh? And if you're using the illusion's tools against the illusion itself, who's the bigger fool? The one that is trapped so deeply within their own intellect, thinking that they have won, will keep them most assuredly trapped for eternity. The easiest ones to trap are the most intelligent ones. The ones that think they're clever, the ones that think they have the answers. That's why I scoff at the whole notion of, I'll share what I have, but it's from a completely different perspective, a completely different viewpoint. Because I was at that point 3 years ago of having little victories after little victories, and some pretty big ones too. All I was doing was feeding the tricky little bastard into thinking, hey, look, I'm winning, and I wasn't looking properly. Of course I was, but what was I winning? I was winning a deeper chamber in the illusion. So I put a stop to that, and typically, I definitely put a stop to it. It's called house getting raided. Spent 28 days. That put an end to that, because I knew just before they raided my place that none of the laws mattered. None of them. They didn't care. They write the rules, so they can change them at will. And they will. As soon as the rule doesn't work for them anymore, they'll just rewrite another one to corner you even further. So how much winning do you think you're going to do at the end of the day in their illusion? Well, they have you trapped. Right? And this is, again, I'm going to go right back to it every single time. It is a tool to observe in order to bring frequencies of others up. This is a game of frequency and vibration. And the higher we can bring people, the faster the illusion collapses. This is why I have such animosity towards anything that enslaves the mind. The carrots, if you will, the opt deals, all of this crazy nonsense that is dealing in physical, quote, money, unquote, flesh of your fellow brethren. Because I don't care what you call it. I know what it is. You can call it money, filthy lucre, fiat currency, debt notes. Call it what you want. I'm going to call it what it is. It's flesh. It is the flesh, spiritual flesh of everyone else on this planet. Ask me how hungry I am for that. I think you already know your answer. Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta survive, but I'll tell you, I only survive with exactly what I need and generally less than that. The universe will keep me here, or it won't. What has changed, though, is my intent. I know what it is now, and I treat it with the utmost respect, and everything that does pass through my fingers, which isn't much, but everything that does pass through my fingers is transmuted. That spirit is recaptured, and I plant that seed back in. And it will touch other pieces of flesh, and it will be handled, and that intention is soaked into every atom within that piece of spiritual paper. That's my intent. I think they call it a computer virus. That's how powerful your intent to manifest is. This is why I wanted to get into manifesting. I need you to start seeing it from a very different perspective. You are the most magical creations in this universe. You are the universe. You are the unknowing with all power of creation, where it's been manipulated out of your hands. Well, we didn't know. We're kind of dumb, eh? We're the unknowing side. Get over it. It was done by the all-knowing with no power, or the less than all-knowing. The ones that know slightly more than us, if you know what I'm saying, that have a slightly lesser good intent. Okay? This is how powerful you can be. You know, if you must go out and, you know, yes, people must survive. There's no question. We're not all quite walking around as Gnostic masters after all, but we're working towards it. That's the goal here, in terms of escaping from this projection that we're living in. At least escaping to create our own. And there's a lot of fear in that, I would assume. I've often thought about this myself. Once free, what would I do? Well, I'll tell you, I'd find some nice quiet time and just contemplate. And then I'd build the most beautiful universe as I envisioned it. And all, of course, are welcome. You want to hang out at my place? Don't worry about it. We're not going to be dealing with any. We're going to consent to take your creation thing. You know, no. So you like that beach? Well, I'll make another one. Don't worry about it. You see what I'm saying? And we all have that ability. This is the point I'm getting at. And here and look at the planet here. Everyone's out chasing around their little bits of physical matter, containing energy, occupying space through time stuff, right? Stuff. We'll just call it, like, I love George Carlin. We'll just call it stuff. Everyone's out collecting all this stuff. And, of course, in North America, there's so much stuff being collected, they have places called storage units. You know, I have one only because that's the only place I have, okay, to keep stuff. And there isn't much there either. Like I said, songs and photographs, that's it. There's a few other odds and sods, but nothing of any real consequence. It's not going to change my life. Well, at least it hasn't for the last year and a half. But, you know, so they build whole complexes where people that have too much stuff in their house have another place to put their stuff. And, of course, when that gets filled up, they'll find another unit to put more stuff in. And I don't know about you, but that really, well, hoarding, right? Hoarding. Hoarding of Babylon kind of works for me. Like, how much shit do you need? Like, even the stuff that Sue, the girls, and I had were very basic. Didn't have a whole lot. Well, most of my stuff was wrapped up in tools and of course, you know, food and stuff like that. And we had the bare bones. The couch downstairs we ended up tossing out because there was no room in the storage for it, and it was a pull-out bed, which, you know, in retrospect, would be pretty handy, but we just didn't have room for it. So, and it was given to me by a friend. You know, so again, and the attachments, right? I'll give you another prime example of the kind of entities that I've interfaced with. A friend of mine that I helped with regards to procuring I think it was, 2 big screen TVs, a couple of computer systems, a whole bunch, about $8,000 worth of stuff, I think, as it turned out at the end of it, using a promissory note. This is back when promissory notes worked, sort of. And they went and got all this stuff, and of course, I, having the truck, was the delivery individual, traveling a couple of different cities. And because one of these huge monster TVs was replacing an older one that that this individual already had, they said, well, here, you take this one, because, we can't use it. And I said, well, no problem, whatever. And they had the brand new ones, right? So it didn't matter. And as fate would have it, when they emptied out my house, whatever, this individual wasn't bad enough that, here we are, kicked to our knees and house and all the rest of it. This individual showed up the day that the truck arrived at the storage unit to, take back their TV. Isn't that fun? Yeah. There's a whole lot of stories about that, around that, and a lot of these people that I was interfacing with, and I had to make sense of it. I really did. And the only thing that came to mind for me was how encapsulated you must be, and so possessed of possessions that you are a very long way off of ever finding yourself. What was funniest about this individual is extremely talented musically, like crazy talented. So that mold doesn't generally always fit either, right? Just because you're a musician doesn't make you this, that, or the other. You still have to sort a few things out. But there you have it. Anyway, it is an open forum, guys. If you want to get into the call here, just hit 1 on your keypad, and if you're in through Skype, just hit your little plus sign, open up the dial pad for Skype, and hit 1 there as well, and we'll get you in. Here we go. Thank you. Area code 774. You are on the air, my friend. How are you?
I am well, Kate. This is Jeremiah. How are you?
Good, Jeremiah. Long time to chat, my friend.
It's been a little while. I've been kind of away, just following wherever it is that I need to be at the time, and I gravitated back here, and I knew that was going to happen. And powerful truths that I've been hearing lately, living in the etheric, and the fact that you're completely absolving any kind of fear porn or whatever, and just focusing on what we really want in our world, knowing that the exterior is the reflection of whatever it is that we're giving, whatever it is that we're focusing on, and realizing that we can take back that power and do positive good with it. And that's where I am right now, just away from the fear, just acknowledging, rather helping people to acknowledge that there is something wrong and that this is happening, but let's not focus on that, and let's start creating something that we want. And just powerful truths that I've heard. I know a few have fallen off, but they will, come to it eventually. I know Tony will come to it eventually. He is missed, but he will find his truth eventually. But this is definitely the way, just falling out of that physical paradigm and starting to, create on the etheric, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's the whole show, guys. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you. Thanks for tuning into Outside the Box tonight. Host Jeremiah just nailed it right between the eyes.
Well, it really resonated with me. And it was so... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's it. That is exactly it. If anyone's looking for the answer tonight, Jeremiah just said it in a couple of sentences.
Well, you broke it down so beautifully, so simply, and it just, like I said, really resonated with me, and that's where I am right now. That I know what I want to do with my energy, and I know what I want to do with my intent. And, noia and epinoia, imagination and intent, and it's been hijacked from forces that want to, control or whatever. But if we understand, rather comprehend that this is happening, and that this now, we are the all-powerful with the knowledge to create, having the ability to access that knowledge so we can create, because we have that power to create. We're just used to create something that we don't want. And now that we can acknowledge that would be beautiful to get on track and start to create something that we want. And the fact that we have more and more listeners on every day, and I'm spreading the word best that I can to have people gravitate to this and just realize just working on the etheric plane, and it's beautiful. And I wanted to pose a question to you. I found out something the other day. I currently freelance as a graphic artist, just helping people with branding and logos and such, and helping them produce their vision. And I really enjoy sacred geometry and using just basic shapes and creating something with it. And all you have to do is either flip it 90 degrees or reverse it, mirror it, and superimpose over it, and you have an absolutely beautiful image. And if you continue that and ratchet it around and around and around, you have nature. So the fact that I have creation at my hand through my Illustrator program, I've been playing around with the basic Genesis pattern. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if you create a sphere and then you put 6 spheres around it, if you flip it 90 degrees, do you have the same shape? Because you think if you're having 6 spheres sharing a common radius, that if you flip it 90 degrees, chances are it's going to be the same way that you initially started with. And that's my question. If I don't know if you've ever thought about that or have ever came to that conclusion, but the beautiful thing is if you flip it 90 degrees, it's a whole new shape, and you can superimpose it over that, and then you can take that shape that you have, flip it 90 degrees, superimpose it over that, and you have another one, and then do it one more time, and you have this beautiful vortexing, counter-rotating field. That's amazing.
See, there's the visual artist for you. Look at the eyes. Eyes to see.
It's amazing.
With your previous comments there, I just wanted to thank you for justifying my entire life. You did it in a sense.
That's amazing. I am honored to be able to do that. I guess it seems so like it's true to me, and it's simple, and I get it. So it's beautiful, and I want other people to get it. So that's fantastic that I've acquired this wisdom, rather knowledge, and have actually applied it, and now it's wisdom, and to be able to share it is even more beautiful. So thank you, Kate, for acknowledging that I do see. Thank you.
Mirror.
That's it.
I can't say it more succinctly than that. What you just shared with what you saw is exactly what I've been trying to explain. So thank you for justifying my entire life to this point. I mean that literally. I don't mean that in an allegorical sense. You don't. I would hazard to ask, do you fully comprehend the gravity of what you just said? And what I just told you?
It's difficult. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There are no words, is I think what it is. We got Mem. I think you pronounce it Mem or Mem. I'm not. I want to make sure I get the sounds right because I love to make sure I get people's callings correct.
Thank you, Kate. It's wonderful to join you tonight and your phone family. Wow. Once again, this is just amazing. Guess what I'm sitting here doing? I am washing some crystals.
Oh, nice.
I've been wanting to make some organite, and so I had purchased some various things to go in it, and I'm playing with it for the first time in my life. I've been, breaking it apart and just washing it and cleansing it and using salt water. And, just sitting here playing. And I was thinking, as I didn't catch your guest's name, I'm sorry.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. it sounded like what he was describing really is a Merkaba, a multi-dimensional Merkaba, actually, which is an incredible vehicle. I'm with you, Jeremiah and Kate, on what you're talking about here. And I remember some discussions from our garage I've mentioned before, my husband and some friends used to have, and we would talk about, what you're talking about. It's just along the same lines, Kate, and that when you're talking about this not being attached, and I remember my husband used to say all the time, we had this garage with these boxes, and he'd say, it's this stuff, can we just get rid of this stuff? Let's just get rid of that stuff, and so that, there have been like 4 things. I'm sitting here with my mom, we're listening, and between you and the television, it's like 4 times. She would say something and the TV would say it, or she would say something and you would say it, and it's just that synchronicity again. We're just in that space of having all of these things come into fruition and manifestation. Exactly what your dream is. It's happening. And
the tick-tock of the clock.
Yeah. And there really is no time here with us, when we're on this call together. And I remember when we used to talk about this whole thing about, what's happening. I remember one time my husband said, well, if we know all of this shit, then why are we still here? And one of the things that we talked about often was the fact that what's happening is we're dying before we die. We're having this death to self, and that's the part, even for me, I'm not there where I'm, like totally free of wanting to do something or, have something or go somewhere, because I haven't done a lot of those things, but at the same time, I'm like you. It's like, I don't want to say, is this all there is, but I know this isn't all there is. And yet, we don't, I think most of us, I'm not sure we really know what we want instead of this. And so it is a matter of coming into this place of almost, it's like you come to a discovery that you can give yourself permission to dream, that you can have something different and something beyond.
You've been afraid to dream for a long time.
We've been afraid to dream and to take responsibility for those dreams. And I think we were afraid because just like people don't know what the unknown is, which you've talked a lot about here in the last week, but I don't know, it's something to do with the fact that you can create a good dream and you can take responsibility for it, and it can be a good dream. This is all we've known.
Yeah, that's there's the trick of tricks, right? And that's part of the whole landscape of the illusion, and that all we know is what we have been programmed to know. What we see around us is all a manifestation of another. We've created it in another's image, if you will, on the other side of the looking glass. And all the clues are there, and of course the all-knowing, that one part of us that is still all-knowing of all things, still, that's the words escape me to try to describe this. Let's call that fail-safe, okay? And us being the unknowing have to be told everything, and of course, being unknowing, we're not quite sure of a lot of things, right? So we're really feeling our way through this, guessing, if you will, using the intuitive. This is why I go with, if it feels right, I move in that direction. Of I don't spend the time thinking on it, because thinking will always get you more of the illusion. That's what thinking is, thought. And I covered that a little bit with regards to the God thought, right? Who planted that nasty bastard of a seed in the first place? And that was it. It was the thought. And it kept everything in a very circular loop. And, we've been caught in the tornado, right? Go back to Wizard of Oz. We've been dumped in someone else's Oz, and we got to find our way back. And here's the good news. every clue has to be there. That's the nature of this game. Whether we see it or not, that's a different story. So when you get back to your heart, of course they want everything going through the mind. That's why they change music to the mind. They want you just thinking about the music instead of feeling it. Everything is thought generated. And the more we think, the further we are away from ourselves. I go back to Glenda again at the end of the movie. You had the means all the time within you, but had to overcome a lot of thinking, had to come over a lot of choices to get to that point where it's like, oh yeah, so I did. But we really can't have a game otherwise, right?
You just reminded me of something else that happened. One time, my husband was reading a book. It was something like The Eye of I by by David Hawking, not Stephen Hawking, but David Hawking. And he looked up at me and he said, I wrote this book. Before I came here, in my creating of this life that I would come into, it was like he was having a memory, or a realization, an awakening, an aha moment. I put this book at this time in my life so that I would be reading it, so that I would wake up and I would remember.
Yep, and I was talking to Ninja about that.
Part of my contract.
Yep, I've said that as well. I use a different analogy. It's like, okay, I have to come in the game and do this and that. I'm allowed to what? Leave clues? Oh, okay, I'm dumping the purse. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, there goes the kitchen sink too. Well, I hope I find that too, right? And that's the thing is,
yep,
everything around you in the now is a clue. Everything. Every little thing is a clue. And you will find those things that resonate with you, songs, particular artists, particular lyrics, movies. There was something that you put in your path, and you made the choice. When I see this, I will remember. And that's a hard concept. The hard concept to grasp for a lot of people. But when you find them, you know you found them. And it was your husband?
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that put that book in his way.
Yep. Yeah. And I totally agree. I have felt that way so many times. And I've mentioned to you, you seem like this multiplicity of people and events, like one of those things that was put here that I put here so that, we could have this conversation at this time.
Mm-hmm. To remind others of the things that they need to have a look at because they're staring them right between the eyes.
Right.
Find the one thing. It's all it takes. When you find one, you find the next and the next and the next, and you just get so hungry on that trail. Hansel and Gretel can't leave enough breadcrumbs lying around. They made a mess of the place. That's the part where I'm at. I'm seeing them more and more, and these are the synchronicities that you've been talking about. Synchronicities are the perfect clues. As soon as you see a synchronicity, there's something there for you. You see the same words popping up all the time, the same numbers, same something or other that just, wow, why does that keep happening? That's your cue. You're on stage. Get on stage. Quick.
You remember in the movie The Matrix where there was the two cats? They were going up the stairs and they saw the black cat, and
something changed.
It's like a glitch in the movie. When we have these things happen, that's the way I think of it. It's like a glitch in the movie to go, this isn't real. Okay, if it isn't real, why am I here, and what is it that I wanted to be figuring out in this moment?
Yeah. I remember.
What am I looking for?
As a kid, deja vu all the time. It's like, wow, this is weird, and but it always resonated. There was something, just like you said, it was that little, hey, wait a minute, this isn't real. This is just somebody else's projection. Someone took over the projector. I'm not in the right cinema. This wasn't a movie I came to watch. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that I could totally relate with that. It's funny because The Matrix obviously was the one that it woke me up, and I started questioning things. And the fact that I saw the glitch thing, the glitch in the Matrix, deja vu, that really had me thinking. I was like, wow, something's wrong here. Something's not quite right. And I remember seeing Deja Vu once. There was this television show that a brand new episode was appearing. And I remember experiencing deja vu the time that I was seeing this episode that's never been on. I was like, well, this can't possibly happen, so this does not seem, quite right. Whose movie am I in? And that really had me question things. And the fact that you were saying about all the signs that are pointing you, rather, if you know you're on the right path, I see, numbers and synchronicity all the time. And I know, wow, I'm on the right path. I parked my car the other day waiting, and I went to go jam out on my guitar, and I saw 777 on the dashboard. And that was really significant because I heard you talk about 777 being 21, which is half 42, which I saw that movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to a Galaxy. Right. And I saw that, and I was like, this movie, 42, I didn't realize that was that significant until I heard that. And it's just all these signs. And when you feel the goosebumps, when you feel that rush throughout your body, wow, okay, this is something that I planted for myself to find, and now we're here. Where can I go next with it? And you just keep following those good feelings.
Exactly. And it's funny, remember one of the things that Sue would say to me all the time when we first met, and I would say, got a quick question for you, Sue. And she'd always say, 42. And I questioned her on it. I said, what do you mean 42? And she asked me, haven't you seen The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? And I said, actually, no, I haven't. And I finally got to see it. It wasn't that long ago either, maybe 3-4 years ago. And to which point something is telling me I need to watch it again in a new unit of time to see what other little jewels of clues I can glean from it to move me on to the next square. I mean, look at the Masonic. What do they have on the floor? Checkers. They're squares to move square to square. And I see that only as a game. And can you play the game? And unfortunately, some people have gotten so encapsulated and enraptured by the game through whatever means of being a lesser god that they've decided to be, are hell-bent to keep as many in this game that they can control as possible to keep it powered up. Because if but one shall awaken, what happens with this whole poisoned matrix of light? I don't know if you've been catching the stuff I've been talking about with regards to the void, and I go to Genesis on this. There's actually a couple of things I want to bring up that Laura posted in Skype today with regards to analyzing scriptures properly. Excuse me, I forget where I was going now. Where was I? This is what happens. I get downloading and I get derailed so quickly.
Genesis.
Genesis.
Void.
Yes. The void. And God created something along the lines of, and God created light and saw that it was good. And in that line alone, because there's no other inference made, it's inferring only one thing in the mirror, that if all light is good, then all dark must be evil. So it's a hypnotic suggestion. It is an undertone, because in a duality we automatically have the back and forth that happens, right? When I say, yes, and you say no, they're two diametrically opposed things. That if everything has to be of this type has to be this, then everything that isn't that type has to be that. So when it spoke of, and God created light and saw that it was good, it meant that the void was evil. Now, I'm going to flip that in the mirror. Okay, well, because everything is good and evil, well, that's when I kind of got really thinking deeply on this whole notion of, well, the pineal can't open unless it's absolutely dark. Okay, so dark's a good thing, and of course Hollywood's always taught us to be afraid of the dark, and they put all sorts of vampires and Frankensteins and werewolves and all manner of boogeymen in dark places to keep us away from it. Now, how would you control a consciousness? It's very easy. Well, to control a populace, all you have to do is keep them ignorant and keep them in fear. That's been pretty much the standard norm for, whatever part of history you can believe, but it seems to be the standard operating procedure. So how do you keep consciousness afraid of itself? By making it afraid of the very place it needs to be to create. So my quest early on in terms of legal and whatnot, that was obviously my entry point into this game through writings and stuff. The only target I saw worthwhile, and this goes back to any time, and I'd done some sales things when I was younger, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to, try to, outcompete the guy in second place. I always went after the, set goals for, okay, well, so-and-so did that, I'm going to see if I can top that. There's no point in trying to, shoot halfway. You might as well go in for the penny, in for the pound. So for me, the Vatican that's in for the penny, in for the pound. That's the darkest place I could think of on Earth, where a lot of the knowledge was kept and hidden, and of course all of the stuff that has come out over the last number of years surrounding that. And one other point I'd like to make as well, when I see all these entities doing the things that they're doing, I not only see them as of course I see them as things that I would not do and I would deem in my perspective to be evil, but at the same time I'm going to look at it and say, okay, well, imagine how long these particular beings have been trapped in this cycle, and how desperate would you get as a trapped part of consciousness to get the attention of others, to have a look at you to see that they're there and that they need help.
Wow.
Because I've often said that, we're not here to save ourselves, we're here to save those that got so deeply entrenched into it, and who deeper than those that are creating the nightmare. And that's their cry for help. And as much as someone that attempts suicide, it's a cry for help. Can we hear them? Or are we going to keep condemning ourselves? Just another perspective on the same thing. That's all.
That's good, Kate, because, what you're coming down to is I am you and you are me.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that was the whole purpose of, at least for myself, that's the way I look at it too. Yeah,
and there are many of us looking at it the same way now. That'll probably explain a whole lot more about why I'm so absolutely anti-fear porn, because it solves nothing. It just keeps people focused on all the wrong energies for all the wrong reasons. And it keeps people in conflict, keeps them divided, keeps them conquered, keeps them as good little sheep. And if that's their choice, then so be it. Fine. I love them anyway. It's not my choice. And
right.
I've said, go ahead, Jeremiah.
Well, I was going to say, right, those people that, I had a thought, those people that are currently in that fear porn setting, like maybe they still need to be, and maybe they still need to interact with those other people so they can, push themselves so far out of that, realm by experiencing that adversity so much that it does not seem right anymore. So it is necessary to a degree. We have, all scales along the way where, where you are, where everyone is, all your listeners are starting to head is towards that neutral ground, knowing the reflection and knowing the power that we hold. And that's 0 point right here, baby. We are at 0 point. And that's fantastic. And if we can just continue to project that, that's wonderful. And that the brighter our light and dark becomes, the brighter that will grow that momentum, rather, and then those people will come, and it'll be beautiful. But then, like you said, like those that are engaged in that fear porn setting, it's necessary, just like, I guess the fall is. It's all about seasons. It's all about cycles. And eventually we will get there. Our momentum is growing stronger and stronger every day, and it is having an effect and it is having an impact. And the fact that we can all look at the sun and say, and this was astonishing to me. I haven't even thought about this. I've done sun gazing before, but I was just giving it my energy. I was basking in whatever energy that it had. And it probably didn't have a very good energy because, like you said, if this ozone, the word that you used to break it up is beautiful. I never thought about it that way either. Oz one.
Yeah.
Is just giving that sun our energy and giving it our intention and our imagination, and giving the earth our intention and our imagination, because we have the power, and that's what it boils down to.
Well, again, we change that manifestation, you know. Yes, this is created in another God's image. However, how about we create it in our own image for a change? And that's what's happening. And when you know, if people are going to sun gaze, then put your intention into it instead of thinking it's going to download energy into you. Because you're basically at effect to it. Because that very thing, as I've said before, that very thing in the sky that gives all life here is the very first thing that will destroy all life if given the first opportunity. And that's what. Oh, go ahead, hon.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just reminded me. You just reminded me of something else, and it was, you had asked a question. I don't know, when I first heard you. And it made me remember something, and it has to do with now what you and Jeremiah are talking about, having to do with the sun, and not. We know that the sun is light, and that's code, it's information, and we're being downloaded. Yes, but again, a part of that download, or maybe all of the download, is helping. It's what we're remembering, perhaps. But what came to me is that what people are looking for is they're looking for a return to innocence. What would it feel like if I could be, fully adult and fully awake and fully alert and just have a fresh start,
Returning to the child within.
Yes, returning to the child within. And when I'm in those moments of creativity and inspiration and the flow, there is such a, it feels like, I've used this saying before, I feel like I'm shining with the strength of 1,000 suns. I mean, the joy is just, I feel like it goes all the way out to the sun. And then everybody around me can feel it. And I know that this is what is uplifting and bringing about the manifestation of the ascension that we're hearing about. It is getting better.
That's the frequency shift.
It is. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to keep going. Yeah, Tag, you're it. I mean, what you're actually doing is explaining the whole dominant frequency law and what's happening, and you're seeing it for yourself, and you're walking, talking proof of it. That when you bring our own frequencies up, what happens to the other clocks around us? They start ticking and talking with us, because fundamentally we all know deep within ourselves who we are. We know. There's not a belief thing. We've just forgotten. And all that happens whenever you are finally in your space, in your 0 point, that is recognized by all. They might not know what it is, they might not know why, but they are drawn to it. And that's why, for me, this is not about waking up a planet. We don't have to. We only have to wake up a few of us. And the planet wakes up accordingly because of the effect that you and Jeremiah and myself and everybody has in that frequency. And I've said before, walk into a room in a miserable attitude and you'll bring the energy down. Walk in there with a jovial attitude and you'll bring the energy up. That's how powerful we all are. And you can feel people that walk into a room and what their intent and what their energy is all about. You know when someone's a permanent sourpuss, and you know when someone's a permanent life of the party type. And who are you going to gravitate to? So get the frequencies high, and you're walking, talking proof. And I know that people listening, once they've brought their levels up, they're going to start to see the moths come to that light. You see, what you're doing now is you're outshining. You are the light of 1,000 suns. Nothing can outshine you, not especially that little speck in the sky. Not a chance. So you get to become the universe and the galaxies and that beautiful 0 point that other galaxies and universes called people will gravitate to, because you're creating that wonderful magnetic void of creation that draws them in. Because what you're doing is you're powering your own light because you found your dark.
Yeah. I don't know if it's me cutting out a little bit and sounding like, it sounds like you're underwater part of the time. I'm not sure, Kate, if other people are hearing that or if it's just my connection. But I was going to say what you just reminded me of also was scripture. And I love to be able to show people where what we're talking about is not just woo-woo out there, New Age stuff. This is biblical stuff, because it says in Scripture that in that day you will no longer need the light of the sun or the light of the moon. But we're there. This is that day. If people can hear what we're saying and they can relate to it, then they know this is it.
Agreed.
We're walking into it. We're being it.
To the nth degree, and being mine and infinite. Isn't it cool? Looks like we have Colleen join us. I'm going to open up her line as well, so everyone gets to jump in here. It's been a while, Jeremiah. I should have recognized your number when it came up, but I recognized Nuns and I recognized Colleen. So, Colleen, are you there, hon?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I just felt like I needed to connect, and it's just so beautiful what you're saying in Jeremiah, and I believe it's Mim. And so much of what you've been saying has just going, through what I've been going through for months about the, if you want to call it the dark forces or all the corruption and the negativity, and so many of us that are so connected in to a higher vibration. It's like we're walking that razor's edge. I'll speak for myself, walking that razor's edge of when all the corruption is revealed, and sharing that as information, I find myself really being affected, my energy. And I've said before on the show that I feel that my work in this world, my dharma, is to bring in the beauty. And when I connect into that negativity, I really feel my energy being depleted. And I know a lot of people have said the same thing, that they they don't know how to handle it because they want to be in the light, if you want to call it that, in the love, in the heart center, in the inner knowing. And then when we get those information of what's going on in the world, yes, it's important to a point, just so we can be, in one sense, prepared. But I have to say, I started listening to different things about 2006. And I have to confess, I was listening to Alex Jones for a while. And man, it was like every day the world was going to end, and get out there and get the gold and the silver. And, yes, part of that has come true, but we're still here, and I'm in my backyard, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. And the bees are here, and the birds, and everything is so luscious. And in my world, it's incredibly beautiful. So what is real? Is my world here in this beauty not real? Is that negativity and all the corruption and the horrible atrocities going on in the world to women and children and to the animals, is that real too? So that's been going in my mind. Mim had mentioned Dr. Hawkins, and he was a beloved teacher of mine. He died last year. And one of his beautiful quotes that I love and I'd love to share, he said, "We change the world not by what we say or do, but as a consequence of what we have become." So what we have become is in our energy field, our vibration, and that vibration we take out into our world, and that's what changes the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not going to get an argument. Don't play that game anymore. And I was thinking of probably an easier way, because we always get caught up in talking about, the dark principalities, the light principalities, all the rest of it. Why don't we just call it what it is? Those things that polarize against us, okay? The polarities that are involved and how far apart they are, right? It's about bringing them into neutral. So I think when we talk about opposing forces, I'm going to start referring to them just as polarities, polarization.
Polarities, yes. Mm-hmm.
Of
I like that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's more neutral, and it means both at the same time. So works for me. And we have Michael joining us. Michael, are you there? Waiting for the unmute. Did I get him? Make sure I got him. Oh, it looks like I lost him. One sec. I did have him. Looks like he went offline.
Something else I'd like to say, Kate.
Please go.
Okay. Is when Jeremiah was talking about the Merkaba and Mim. And that's how I feel when I'm in that high vibration of love and the beauty and taking that out into the world. I feel I'm just traveling around in my Merkaba, all around, and everywhere I go, it has an effect. It has a vibration that lifts, and I know that that's my dharma in the world.
And and finding that, yeah, absolutely, and finding that's the real gift, isn't it? Michael, we got you this time. Okay, it looks like I've got him. Oh no, he dropped off again. Okay. Oh, there you are.
Well,
Or that's Jeremiah.
Oh, no, this is Jeremiah.
Yep.
Well, first of all, I just want to introduce myself to Colleen and Mim. It's very nice to meet you, ladies. I'm sure I've heard you on the show and love your insights. Absolutely beautiful people. Wonderful
so good to meet
energy.
You, Jeremiah. I've heard you many times, too. Just a beautiful, sweet energy.
Beautiful. And you as well. Mirror, mirror.
Yes.
Wonderfully articulates.
And everyone listening, too. They may not get on and say anything, but you can feel their energy. And I wish they would get on and say something and share their heart. I feel their heart.
I wanted to comment.
I was going to say you've heard me begging. So no, I was just saying you've heard me begging for people to come on. So yeah, I'm trying. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job. But I was going to comment on the Merkaba idea. Now, like I said, when I flipped the Genesis pattern 90 degrees and superimposed it over, I did notice that there was the circle at the top, the two circles on the right and the left, and the one on the bottom. And if you trace it out, you do have the Merkaba, the polarity, which is beautiful. And the thing of it is I've always had some disinformation, or maybe I'm not really sure what it takes for the understanding of the Merkaba. But my first knowledge and understanding, rather, of this kind of principle, and I'm still wrapping my head around it, was from Trinvalo's work. And the Flower of Light books have really opened my mind up to just really the physical world and just everything else in general. And it's been absolutely beautiful, and I've never seen the world different. I've never seen the world quite the same again. And my question is he has a particular way that you have to spin the Merkaba, and you have to do it this way, and if you don't, then this is going to happen. And that's limitation, and that did not sit well with me. There's no, set way to do something. So I was wondering what your take was on that. Everyone's take.
Oh, well, again,
my take is...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, keep your thought. Keep your thought. I was just going to...
Yep.
I was just going to say to is it Colleen or Colleen?
Colleen.
Yeah, Colleen. When you talked about the Merkaba, the way you described it, about going through your day and just being in that beautiful flow, to me, that's the Merkaba in manifestation. I mean, I'm with you, Jeremiah. I think that outward, this description of it was only to try to give people what Kate does in giving a kind of a metaphoric picture so that they can get an idea of what it might feel like. Go ahead, Kate.
Yes.
Thank you. But Colleen described it perfectly.
Yeah. I just, when Jeremiah was talking about, you got to do it this way and that way and the other, sorry, that's where I apply my go tinkle in the morning rule. I don't ask for anybody's permission to turn Merkabas or anything I want because I know who I am, so and I do get the relevancy of it. I'm just double checking the board in case you guys have actually managed to entice people in where I can't. Yes, you did. Area code 970. Oh my God.
All right.
Here we go.
With the sacred geometry and the flower of life and the Merkaba, and if you look up YouTube, Charles Gilchrist, he's incredible. Yeah. He's an artist, but he's also a, I don't know what you'd call him. I don't know if it'd be a scientist or just all the sacred geometry, and he explains that how it spins both ways naturally.
At the same time,
yes. Yeah, and he's a beautiful, beautiful man, beautiful heart, and I really recommend everyone checking out his work too. Charles Gilchrist, Gilchrist, Sacred Geometry.
And by the way, I was going to say, don't be fooled by the visuals of seeing a Merkaba with the top turning one way and the bottom turning the other. No, they both turn in the same direction because when something turns one direction, they're turning in the other direction at the same time anyway. All you got to do is change your perspective on it.
That's right.
If you look up from underneath, clockwise, down from above, counterclockwise. So don't buy into that.
And you know what? If we really remember and know, capital K, know who we are, we can turn that Merkaba any way we want it to turn.
Agreed. That's why I apply my tink rule.
That's right.
I didn't call anyone when I had to go. I just go. That's I'm taking full responsibility for my universe, and that includes that. And it starts with something that's simple. I apply that same rule to everything. Just because somebody said. That's why I have a hard time when people say I know this or I don't know that, and I'm not going to assume what you know and what you don't know. I know what I know. I know exactly what I know, so please don't assume that you think I know otherwise, because I won't do that to you. I will take your perspective and go, cool, neat angle, love it, or, nah, not my thing, I'll move on. Okay? That's going to be my choice, though. And again, it's why this platform that we have is exactly that. You can walk into the platform. If you don't like what you're hearing, then just walk back out. No harm, no foul. I'm going to love you either way. It don't matter to me. Because a lot of stuff
That's why we want everybody to get on and express themselves, because no matter what, we love everyone, and it's just beautiful to hear your heart. No matter what you have to say, you're just, you're just so welcome here. Kate makes everyone feel just, the beautiful divine being that we are.
I'm just trying to show you guys how amazing I see. That's all. I mean, pick me apart for it, and I got to tell you, I spent most of my life getting picked apart for that. You're beautiful. Well, wait a minute. There's something here. There's a catch to that. And no, there's not. Well, not with me anyway. I'm sure there are with others that have trapped you, and I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But speaking of, we have another call. Well, we got area code 970. Your line's open. Ninja, yours is open. Not like you can't open it yourself. And area code 508 is open as well. So there you go. Everybody jump in.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. This is Jennifer of the Cosmic Jungle on your Facebook.
Yes. How are you, Jen? Good to
you.
hear you. Yes, you are.
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Good. I have, the Facebook doesn't like me getting on your show, so sometimes I have a hard time connecting, and I try on Blog Talk. I don't know, maybe I'm not good at this stuff, but I wanted to try and get in tonight because I'm someone that actually experienced one of John Vallot's workshops, but it was with somebody else that came. I live in outside of Boston, and I had been reading The Flower of Life, and it was while my boyfriend had gotten Lyme disease, and he was like in the hospital with third-degree heart block, and he was very ill. And I had been reading this Flower of Life, and I wanted to take this workshop. And so I planned for it before he even got sick, so it was kind of strange how it all happened. And so while he was ill in bed, I would read him the Flower of Life. And when he would be, passed out, I would continue reading. Then I would end up going back and reading again, so I almost read all of it twice. And then when I went and did this workshop, this Living in the Heart workshop with the lady that came from Flagstaff, Arizona, her and her husband came together, and they were like two of the most beautiful people I ever met in my life. They were really, really great, and I was very, very pleased to have her come and do this with this group of 12 people. And it was an extraordinary experience. And Bruce, my I call him my lover, he really left there healed in such a wonderful way. He was able to do things he hadn't been able to do because he was so sick. And we did these group healings when we did when we activated our light bodies, our Merkabas. And I had a really great experience with it. And I was never told to do anything like a certain way, like spin it or do anything. We were brought in like there's two different ways. I guess there's a masculine way and a feminine way. And there was some things in the early 90s and through the 2000s that they were trying to fix with the way it was being done, because we're all learning this. It's something that, we're all learning, and we different teachers have different ways of bringing it in, and they're trying to, we're trying to rediscover and readapt to an ancient knowledge that was used on this planet many times before. And there's such a wonderful story, behind Lemuria and Atlantis and all of these things that happened on the planet, and it's like such a great tale, and it's so much deeper than what we certainly learned in, say, maybe church or school. So my experience in my life has been really great because I'm one of four, and I'm the one that took on after my mom, with her psychic stuff and all of her astrology and all of her, wanting to know. And the other three didn't really. And so it's something that's kind of been cool in my life. And now this time, this awakening, it really, really started for me when the mortgage company tried to take my house. It was something else. I live on this little farm out in the middle of nowhere on the edge of Connecticut, Massachusetts. I love it here. And I said, they're not getting my house. They're not going to get it. And so I really thought the mortgage company, I would send all these letters. And it's so funny listening to you, Kate, because it's like, wow, I envy you because you went those steps further than what I went. But I would every single month, and I would be in tears doing this. I would be putting all my paperwork together, getting these new letters written up, putting together all of my tax information, and they wanted the same stuff every month over and over and over again, and I would get them to stop my foreclosure sometimes hours before they were going to do it. And it was just the most trying time. And, I started to, I had another house too, and I had gotten out of a really bad relationship, 17 years. And somebody put me down when I just, I'm a bubbly person, and so I finally, broke away from that. So it was all during that time. All my, everything all happened at the same time, saving my house, letting the other house go, letting that guy go, and a lot of things just all happened at once. And now I can look back and say, wow, this is what it all was about. And it led me to first it led me to, I asked Archangel Michael, I said, please, I'm ready, I'm ready to wake up. I'm ready to figure this out. I'm ready to know, I really need to get started. I have to get on this journey and find out what is going on. And so it was Archangel Michael that I first asked. And I know I know that he's quite drama. I know all about it, but I was led to David Wilcock. And when I started to get, with David Wilcock, then of course it was David Icke, and it was Greg Braden, and it was like, and I just was so enthralled. And like I've been very fortunate because my, fiance will let me do these hours and hours of research and studies and filling up my notebooks and telling him these things that are so crazy, and he's like, blah, 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 really? And so, it's been a lot of discernment for me, too. And through this, I've lost my brother and I've lost my mother. And I got through losing them in a way that, like, say, 5-10 years ago, I would have been curled up in a ball for weeks in my bed. And I got through it. It's like...
Yes, Scylla is not gentle when she picks off your crew. We got to figure it out. That's where we have to get back to center stream, and it's not an easy path. And
it's not. It's not.
And depending on what road you take, you have yours. We all have our own individual roads.
Yes, right. It's been a really interesting journey, watching other people's journeys as well. But, back onto the Merkaba, I really do think that I didn't learn that, like, spin it one way, spin it the other. I heard that was something that was being done before that wasn't correct, maybe. The way that I learned it was just to go into these very deep meditations, and I was able to get to my sacred space in my heart. And there, it was like when I first landed, it was like all a cobblestone floor. It's really interesting. You don't feel this stuff, but you sense it, and it's all there, and that was quite an experience in itself. And then there was sacred geometry there that is what led me to the tiny space in my heart, where I actually encountered my higher self, and I've gone there, various times, and done some kind of neat things.
There's the yellow brick road, as I'm trying to describe it and explain it to people.
Yeah.
Everything that you see in the illusion are clues. There are no answers there, and people get caught up in the illusion like there are answers to be had, and there are none. There are only clues to finding yourself. That's the nature of this game. That is the only aspect of importance that people need to get with this game. There is nothing out there that will give you any answers. What it will do is it will show you all of the answers within you as clues that you already know. And I've said this, and I will continue to say this. You are not learning anything, and I am not teaching anything. What we are doing is collectively remembering who and what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I found a few extra things that I think have been helpful, in as much as others have found things that have been very helpful for me. They found this breadcrumb, and I go, oh, cool breadcrumb, and yeah, that fits in here for me, and then check this one out, and I throw it back over. A different one. And what we're doing now is generating this beautiful energy that we are coming together individually as a collective, not collectively as an individual. It kind of works both ways, but I want to make sure that the game plan here, for those that wish to maintain this game in its present form, that what is being sought there is what's called a mass consciousness, which is basically like lemmings, okay, where one lemming leads all the rest of them off the cliff. None of them are thinking for themselves. They're just following the herd. That's what they want. They want the herd mentality. That's why they have the big box cattle stores, okay? That's why they have things set up to keep everyone in a predictable pattern, where calendars. I talked about that last night. Keep everyone predictable, doing the same thing over and over, and they're very easy to control. It's just like having an ant farm, and that's effectively what we're dealing with. This is Animal Farm on a grand scale. So,
right. Kate,
nice tone.
What's your opinion on like Metatron's cube and the fact that we're in that reality? Do you feel as if we're in that reality, and that's the reality that we kind of want to get outside of, because that's the, or do you feel like Metatron's cube is more, from what it seems to me, even like what's his name? I wish I could remember his name now. Then I'm trying to think of it. I can't.
I can tell you what I feel about this place. I feel that everything that is here is a complete and utter trap, and that this is a separate.
In that paradigm of Metatron's cube.
Well, again, in a nutshell, for me, is I see everything in this particular dimension as being boxed, and it is completely separate from the rest of consciousness because of the poisons that are contained within it. It has to be quarantined. And there are those of us that got trapped in it, and there are those of us that are here to undo that trap and break it free. And I go back again to the Illuminati's greatest fear. The enlightened ones, the ones that worship Ra, their greatest fear is this: if but one shall awaken, we are doomed. Doomed means judged. Yeah. Okay? So that's the only thing I am focused on. That is it.
Wow.
Be or find the one. Go ahead.
Yes, beautiful. If I can expand on that. Jennifer, thank you for your experience with the Merkaba. I feel a lot better now. I love the Dranvala books. I really see it has a pure heart from what I've witnessed, and it's been amazing information. But I wanted to talk about the Metatron's cube. Now, I don't know if it's the geometry that's surrounding our physical, mechanism that we're within at the moment. But there is one piece of advice that I could kind of rather not a piece of advice, but something that I've breadcrumb rather that I've picked up on that I'm trying to assemble right now and figure it all out, and it involves Andrew Basiago's experience in Project Pegasus. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but another thing that we were talking about today was the position, or rather the rotational field that we choose. There's been this idea that if you spin 33 times, say clockwise, I believe it is, they used to do this in ancient times, and it used to dissociate consciousness. I believe it's like 33 times in 1 minute. Now, what they did was they would use children to dissociate their consciousness by spinning them in a chair, a Montauk chair. More things out there that these things have happened. But what happened was they dissociated themselves from consciousness during this program, Project Pegasus, for these exploratory, knowledge-based psyops or whatever programs. But they would have these children.
Yeah, I heard a bit about this. Yes. So,
I'm sorry?
I was going to say I'd heard about this. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. What would happen was that these children, they left their bodies and they acceded to this point where they were outside of like this holographic projection, like this massive machine that's generating the hologram into which we are currently involved in, this consciousness that we're trapped in, that we're kind of in a game, a stage where we project our thoughts outward, and we're the rotor-based beings where we manifest, where we have the power. And the idea is that whatever it is that he saw, there was other accounts that other children had saw. They confirmed that as they left their consciousness, they were in this area. I don't even know the expanse of it, but they saw whatever it was that was generating the hologram. So I don't know if that helps you with whatever it is that question you're asking.
Well, I just wanted to begin with one little thing here. I'm not sure if anyone else picked up on it, but being a musician, the first thing you said there about the Merkaba spinning 33 times in a minute, I thought of the 33 RPM albums.
Yeah.
Record player, 33
really?
RPM. Well, you had the 3 speeds, right? Okay, I'm old school, right? So used to have them, right?
Yeah, Kate, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 33, 45, and 72.
Yeah.
Okay, what have you got there? 78 RPM, which is 15, 33, which is 6, and of course 45, which is 9, consciousness. So, I mean, these are all, I thought it very interesting when you said 33 times in a minute. Well, that's a record player. So, look at all the neat little tricks they've been pulling. Isn't that fun?
Wow.
And you know what's really interesting?
We got about 12 minutes left here because I've got to go and do a webinar. But what I'm going to ask everybody, if you can, please, tomorrow night is, of course, Syncretism. Some will not be on. We all know why. He was on Tuesday with us or Monday night, rather. I think it was Monday or Tuesday night, to give us an update on what's going on with Ecuador. So if you guys, this is a conversation worth pursuing because there's a lot of things getting opened up here that are stepping outside of the physical realms, and that's exactly where I've been wanting to bring people. Welcome to my world. Show the other side of the coin that everyone's seeing, the one that they can't see. Everyone's been staring at the head and they didn't realize there was a tail. And I'm kind of holding on to the tail going, over here! So if we could, this would be a beautiful continuation. So run it out. We got, like I said, 11 minutes before I have to leave. But the floor is yours. I'm good with what I've said tonight, and we'll just carry on tomorrow.
Someone who just got on, it sounds, there's like a rumbling. I'm not sure.
Oh, that could be me with the rain. Hang on.
Oh, it's raining?
Oh, there it is. That was
raining. It's raining.
Yeah.
Oh, I should, before
you sound, Jeremiah, you sound like you're underwater. Is that you?
Yeah. That could be me.
What okay.
Before I go off here and let you guys finish off, I just want to do a shout out to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Thanks, Paul and Lisa and the crew at Critical Mass for giving us this platform every night. Why does it feel like a sermon when I say this? Because it's beautiful, that's why. Anyway, I just can't say thanks enough.
Thank you.
You know, what a gift. Anyway, carry on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to take off. Good night,
go ahead.
Good night, Colleen. Good night,
Jeremiah,
Jennifer.
Yes, so good that you're here.
Blessings, everybody.
Much love to you, my dear. Thank you for sharing so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Have we heard from area code 508 yet?
That's me.
Okay, who's me?
That's Jennifer. Yes, that's Jennifer.
Sorry, you broke up there. Who?
Oh, that's Jennifer.
You can call me Jen.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought. Okay. I think it was.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh, all good.
I just wanted to say that when there's a lot, like you're talking about the 33 and the Merkaba and the rotating, both ways. And for me, when I just get in the silence and into my heart center and out of my head, trying to figure out and trying to learn all these things that to me are really in my head, then I'm not connected in as powerfully as I can be. For myself, I'm talking when I'm just really dropping into the silence and into the heart center, into my soul space, and not trying to figure it out. And to me, that's where it works for me.
Yeah, it's when you get rid of that nasty Egyptian bastard, you'll be fine. And that for me is what the system jamming is. Our pineals have been overridden, and I haven't had time to get this tonight, but I posted some stuff that is very pertinent to it, and I want to cover it tomorrow night. But they've taken control of the pineal. That's our transceiver, our connection from heart to source. And look at all the different frequencies they're throwing in, and all the different ego programs that they're running on the different consciousness here that you think it's you. And only when you can shut that up completely will you find you. And you're nothing like that little tricky bastard. Sorry. Nothing.
Yeah. And also with all the knowledge that's ever been and ever will be is available to every single one of us when we drop into that space. How many times have everyone listening to this right now read something that just so resonated within their whole being and they already knew it?
Mm-hmm.
It's when we're in that deep, centered a space of knowing that everything that ever was in this universe is available to us. We don't have to be scholars. We don't have to be scientists and chemists and what have you. That is available to every single one of us.
That's so true. It's so empowering and so beautiful. Just not having to strive for something because someone says you have to do it this way, and being able to just do whatever it is that makes your heart sing and do it awesomely.
Mm-hmm. That's it. When your heart sings, it's in that high vibration, and so your whole energy field is cleared to be able to hear the information, and that's all coming in for me right now through that because I've connected in. If that makes sense.
I can feel that.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to say is that that I've learned through all of this that constantly comes back daily. Obviously, is that living in the heart and every decision that you make, if you make it through the heart, you will never make a mistake. You will not go the wrong route. You will not get into the situations that you really don't want to get yourself into. We're on this path, to stay in our light, to keep our light, and to light. That's what we are. We're light, and it's so important for us to stay focused. And some people, they don't have to do anything. They just need to be. And some people feel like they do need to do something, like they need to get out there and spread the light everywhere. And other people can just stay right where they are, and they don't have to do a thing, and it just does it because you have it within. And we all have, and we just need to wake it up.
Well, I'm gonna share the love, and we're gonna close with an energy where you can just kind of get into your own zone and take the words that are going to come at you any which way that resonates with you. So tonight I'm going to close her off with a song. I get just enough time before we go off air.
Beautiful, Kay. Thank you. Love to all.
Love to all, and thank you all so much, and I expect you all tomorrow night, okay?
Absolutely. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, the table is set, and your place is there. So we'll finish off with Field of Broken Dreams. And much love to you all, and thank you for changing my world.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Much love. Catch you on the other side. Thanks everybody for tuning into Outside the Box tonight with multi-hosts, Kate, Jeremiah, Mim, Jennifer, Colleen, who else? Who I missed? Ninja. Who did I miss? Oh, and Michael we tried to get in, but that's okay. So here you go. Field of Broken Dreams. Much love to everybody. Thank you all so much.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity. Will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though? We'll find a way, we must believe in us. There'll come a day, we'll soar, and when it does, the sky will have no boundaries. I will challenge every sea, I will never lose this dream. 'Cause for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain. For lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. On this field of broken dreams.